Hey everyone, it's cartoonist Scoot McMahon from Rossford, Ohio. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my home office where I create cartoons and comics. I'm also going to talk about my process, how I come up with ideas, and what inspires me as a cartoonist. Okay, so before I start, working on a comic or doing any drawings or anything, I kind of like to grab a nice big cup of ice water to get started, just to settle in. And I'll review any notes or scripts that I need to make changes to, or get started on little roughs, little thumbnails here. So I'll do that over here at this little table. This is also the spot where if I have ideas for different characters or situations, I'll grab one of the many sketchbooks I have and I'll just sketch out ideas. I have a whole stack of sketchbooks, as you can see over here. Many of them have little thumbnails from previous comics in there. I think this is from Sammy the Samurai Squirrel. So yeah, this is kind of like the starting point for me. What I like to do before I get started with anything is do a couple of warm-up sketches. In this case, I'll be warming up with drawing of Ninja Kaiju, the book I have coming out with my friend Franco, who's an award-winning comic book cartoonist, along with Art Baltazar. Those guys really helped me get my start in comics, doing the Oh Yeah comics with them, based out of Chicago. Obviously, yeah, I know I hold my pencil a little weird. Ever since I was a little kid, I think 2 years old, I started drawing like this, and I could draw pretty decently, I guess, from a young age, so my mom and dad weren't too concerned. But when I got to school, some of the teachers tried to get me to grip my pencil, the normal way. But luckily, I had great art teachers at Eagle Point Elementary, like Carlene Fredericks, who said, just go ahead and do whatever makes it easier and is comfortable for you. So thankfully, she kind of saw that I had an aptitude for art and didn't really try to change too much. As I got into high school, I just loved always sketching and doodling and telling stories. I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a comic book artist or a cartoonist or an animator, but eventually in college I found my way to comics, thanks in part to my high school art teacher Diane Gladio, and then my college advisor and mentor Charlie Canwisher at Bowling Green State University. Drawing a pizza character up here just for fun. I have a whole sketchbook full of stuff like this, and then if you see me at a comic book convention, I'll bring these drawings for sale. We come over to the Cintiq, where I'm going to either scan in or upload the thumbnail sketches I've done based on the story or the script, or in this case, my friend and collaborator Franco sent over a series of thumbnails since he's an artist, so I'm going to use his sketch as a basis for this Ninja Kaiju page. So he's writing this Ninja Kaiju story, but he's not giving me a script, so I upload his thumbnail into Clip Studio Paint, a program I like to use for penciling and inking. In this case, I'll use Franco's rough sketch. I will reduce the opacity, and then I will add panel lines, and then I will make any of my own loose drawings over top of what Franco did, and I'll run those by him. So I might change like the perspective of a shot in the story, and we'll go back and forth. It's really super easy to work with Franco on these comics. So after I've done that, I go into different panels and I'll start inking. And this is a process I got from famous cartoonist Art Baltazar, where he sets up different layers with different color blocks on them. So then I know when I get to the coloring stage, some of these different colored lines will be colored. They won't be solid black. So the black lines will be black, but these other pink and blues may be different colors when I get to that stage. This is what a final inked page looks like in Clip Studio Paint. So I'm going to show you page 20 of Ninja Kaiju as an example. I'm going to ink over this page that's kind of roughed in right here, and you'll see my process is pretty similar. My drawing technique is similar to when I was drawing Ninja Kaiju on the paper. now I have the benefit of Control Z, which I use a lot to undo any mistakes, because this is going to be the final inked drawing that will appear in the book. So I want it to look as perfect as it can look. I've always been into like monsters and Halloween type stuff ever since I was a kid. I loved spooky stuff, monsters, superheroes, robots, aliens, ghosts, all that stuff. My brothers and I used to draw that kind of stuff all the time, so it's kind of fun to be able to work on these books now and make a living off of it. So what I'm showing you right now is just inking in Clip Studio Paint. This is just a quick example. The ninja transforms into a giant kaiju and he's bursting out of a building. So I might put like the blocks of a building on a separate layer, and then I will use the black ink lines here as my main lines for the Ninja Kaiju. Alright, so after I'm done with the coloring, I will send the pages over to Franco, who I'm collaborating again on this book, Ninja Kaiju, with. Franco will send me any notes, I'll make any little changes, and then we will send it off to the publisher to, in this case, Paper Cuts. They will give their notes, their edits, or they'll give the thumbs up that it's good. And then I can take a break and play some Nintendo. Okay, so yeah, this is my office. Again, I've been doing comics for about 20 years, and I like to surround myself with things that inspire me, especially things that inspired me as a kid. I like to get in that headspace when I draw. So whether it's Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, superheroes, Disney afternoon cartoons, Popeye, you'll see a little bit of that all over my office. I also like to put my kids' drawings upstairs because they always come up with something that inspires me and helps keep me in a good mood. So I have a little bulletin board there with all their stuff. The Disney shows inspired Sammy the Samurai Squirrel, the design of Spot on Adventure. Also, you know, I'm like Halloween, Wrapped Up, Dave Scheid, worked with him on that. Agents of Slam, my wrestling comic, I also worked on with Dave, which reminds me, I got a world title to win.